This is the Sheff United Way match preview, but sadly this is not 𝗲𝗷𝗀𝗏𝗏.
Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole.
Ole, ole, ole. That's what I think they're singing. That's what I'm going to take to my heart as being the way of us introducing these videos. Everybody just wants ole, ole, ole. So last week's game was very much a tale of two halves. United put in a fantastic first half performance. It was full of excitement. We saw a front four that were dynamic, that were ready to play together. They showed exactly what we can expect from a team with this much exciting attacking talent. And then the second half happened, and the back four reminded us why we conceded 104 goals last year, why we've conceded 47 goals at Bramall Lane since Chris Wilder's returned to the club last season, an average of over 3 goals per game. But it also showed us that we can exactly expect the same things over and over again from a calamitous defensive structure that we've currently got at the club. Now, what's happened since then? We had a week of rumours that have been coming out of Bramall Lane, and most of them been on the negative side. I've heard 𝗲𝗷𝗏𝗏𝗏's name starting to do the rounds with a few Premier League sides, but he's not going anywhere. We've seen the takeover saga continue to rumble on. Is it coming towards the end? Is it moving forward? Is the Prince going to buy Charlton? Who knows? Who knows at this stage? Let's just see what happens. It's drawing ever closer to some sort of resolution, though, and fingers crossed we'll know more about that soon. But the most pressing rumour that just seems like it won't go away this week is about 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗏 and his potential departure to a host of Premier League teams who've been interested. West Ham, Ipswich, Wolves, who knows? But it does look more and more likely that he will be leaving the club. Given the defending problems, given the defensive mishaps that we've seen time after time, given that he's been a key part of this defensive unit that's failed us for 18 months, if it's a big enough offer and there's enough money on the table, I think I'm snapping your hand off if it allows us to rebuild the rest of our team. But that's enough for rumours. That's enough for reflections. Let's look ahead to the 3 p.m. kickoff on Saturday at Carrow Road. It's Sheffield United versus Norwich City, and it's a battle of two teams who threw away very promising positions, who threw away leads right in the last minute. So what does United's team news look like? Let's cover off a few of the injuries. First, Tom Davies. Let's just assume he's always injured. I think we'll just assume. Maybe we don't even need to mention him. We'll just assume Tom Davies is injured. Rhys Norrington-Davies has made an appearance since his return. He played against Wrexham. Would he come in, maybe looking at a little bit more defensive solidity? I think it's still too soon for that, but he has just signed a new contract, keeping him at Bramall Lane for an extra couple of years. But as I say, I just think it's match fitness that's going to hold him back from being able to really challenge for that starting spot in the team. Jamie Shackleton and Sam McCallum should both be in contention for this one. Might again give us the chance for a little bit of extra defensive solidity, depending on how we want to play them in them roles. And in front of them, I think this is the game. I know we've got to manage his match fitness. I know that we've got to make sure that he's fully ready. We don't want him breaking down. We don't want him injured. But we do want to see 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I think we saw enough from him in that tiny little cameo on Saturday that he's going to be really excited in terms of getting the ball, being dribbly, beating his man. If he gets his end product right, could have such an impact. And therefore, I think we all want to see him in the team. But they're all suggestions. They're all players who might be injured, players who might come in and play a few minutes. The big news is that there's somebody who's definitely going to start on Saturday. And I will, let's not commit too hard, actually. I know I'm not going to eat my hat on camera because if I did, if I was wrong, I couldn't do it, guys. I wouldn't be able to deliver. But the big news is that he's back in the door. He's been with us more than a week. Michael Cooper will start on Saturday. He's our new number one, and we expect to see him starting every game from this point forwards. And so he will be our number one starting the game on Saturday. I'm almost certain about it. Tyrese Campbell, if you've been paying attention, has been playing well so far for the under-21s. Got a goal this week in a massive win where Ryan One also massively shone. So I expect to see him on the bench, maybe coming on to make an appearance or two in the next couple of weeks. And I think this game could be one for him on the bench if he's really impressing the under-21s, as we have seen. But what do you think that Chris Wilder is going to go for? I'll give you my 11, and I want to hear yours in the comments. I think it's going to be Cooper in goal. I think we're going to have a back four of Gilchrist, Souttar, Robinson, McCallum. Now, this is a bold call that I think McCallum's going to come in, but this is against his former team. It's against his old club, so he's going to have a point to prove. I also think we saw a real lapse of defensive quality the other day, particularly down that left side, and it cost us so hard against QPR that I think we'll just want to send a bit of a message, reset on exactly what we expect from our defenders. Just make sure we've got that solidity in our back four. Now, I don't think that means that Burrows drops out of the team. Just think it means a slightly change of role, and I'll come to that in a second. So I think the midfield will stay pretty much the same. We'll have Sousa and we'll have Blaster, and they'll be looking at that sort of defensive position, really setting our tempo, taking us forward. Hopefully we see the Sousa who's charging around like a man possessed, winning his tackles, and really having a significant influence on the game, and not the one who goes missing when the going gets tough. In front of them, Harmer and O'Hare, O'Harmer, as it were, are having such an impact. They're so exciting to watch. They're such a good sort of understanding between that. I'm really excited to see them developing. And this is where the controversial call comes. I've said this a couple of weeks ago, and apparently I'm going to just keep saying it till it happens. I think Burrows will come in and play on that right wing in this one. I think we'll swap him for 𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗏, or maybe, depending on game state, we'll swap McCallum for 𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗏 after sort of 45 minutes to an hour. And so I'm interested to see if this is how it plays out, because we've seen the flaws in Burrows' game at left back. And maybe while he's still getting up to speed with the Championship, while he's still adapting to the step up into a new league, we don't want to put that defensive responsibility on him, because as we saw the other day, it can cost us in the moments that matter. Up front, it's not even a debate. Kiefer Moore will 100% be the man who is starting up front for United, unless he gets injured in training before then. And let's just hope that that's not the case. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I've been too cautious with 𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗏, if you think I'm being too bold with Burrows, if you think, actually, let's get that back four as a proper unit. Let's have them working together. You'll note that I put Souttar in instead of Anel. Do you think that's the right choice? If Anel's still at the club, which he should be, do you think that he'll be starting this game? Personally, I want Souttar in. I want his height. I want his aerial dominance. I want to see what he can do attacking other teams on corners. And I really think he can bring a valuable presence. But I want to know what you think about it. Let us know in the comments. So what about Norwich, though? They've had a bit of a tricky start to the season. They've lost some of their key men, but there's somebody who understands this a lot more than I do. We have been able to reach out to a fantastic Norwich fan who's going to tell us more about their start to the season.
Good morning to the good folks at the Sheffield United Way. Thank you very much for inviting me on. I'm 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Chief Norwich City reporter at the 𝗵𝗂𝗃, Eastern Daily Press and Norwich Evening News. I cover Norwich City, which has been quite eventful in the last couple of weeks, as I'm sure it has been for everybody associated with football clubs at this time of the year. Of course, we're looking ahead to Sheffield United's trip to Norfolk this weekend. They arrive at Carrow Road, hoping to become the first team to record a win there in a competitive game since November last year, which was Blackburn Rovers, which was a defeat I think we all expected would spell the end of David Wagner at that period in time. Alas, it did not. It's been an eventful couple of weeks for Norwich City. We've had certainly the structure to a full American takeover. There's been signings. There's been signings that didn't happen. There's been sagas, transfer requests, players withdrawing from the squad, Jonathan Rowe. So it's been pretty eventful, and all of that sort of underscoring what has been quite a transitional time at the moment with Johannes Hoff-Torp, who's just taken charge, hoping to implement a different style of play and embed a new culture as well. So all of that has made this probably a slightly slower start to the season than many anticipated. Norwich were comprehensively and comfortably beaten on the opening day against Oxford United. They were a lot better on Saturday against Blackburn. 2 goals. Should have won that game really with the chances that they had, particularly through Josh Sargent. A few things that I guess to look out for. I've mentioned some of them, or touched upon some of them. John Rowe obviously looks like, and by the time Saturday rolls around, he may well be a Marseille player. That is pretty close now to securing a loan with an obligation to buy move to Marseille. Abu Kamara as well, young winger who impressed on loan at Portsmouth last season. He submitted a transfer request, so we'll wait to see what that will mean in terms of his availability for Saturday's game. In terms of injuries, Ashley Barnes is out. Slight calf injury will keep him out of action for this game. It's kept him out of all of pre-season. One that sort of overhang last season. He's had to have a little bit of surgery on. Midfield duo Jakob Sorensen, versatile central midfielder who can also play as a defender. He's out as well with a foot injury. And then Christian Fassnacht, who's a winger, missing out with an Achilles injury. So those really are the key lines ahead of, obviously, we're recording this prior to Johannes Hofterup doing his pre-match press conference on Friday lunchtime. So there could be more within that. But yeah, with transfer sagas and whatnot, Jonathan Rowe won't be available. We wait to see what Abu Kamara's situation will mean. There is the possibility that Norwich City get a new signing in the door. They're working hard to sign Ante Cernach from, as we're kitten behind me, Ante Cernach from Poland, Croat striker that they're hoping to get in the door before Saturday, but whether that or not that will be done in time, we shall see. So that's all the latest sort of news, and my predicted 11 would be Gunn in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Jose Cordoba and Callum Doyle as the back four. Midfield three of McLean, Nunez and Amankwa Forson, who's really impressed since he's come in from Red Bull Salzburg this summer. Borja Sainz on the left. I'm going to go Onel Hernandez on the right. Was young. 𝗍𝗿𝗶𝗲 last week, 18 years of age. Don't think Abu Kamara is going to get the nod for the reasons that I've mentioned. So I think that's likely to be the experienced Onel Hernandez with Josh Sargent through the middle. In terms of score prediction, I think this is where the stage that Norwich are at. It's just going to be a bridge too far. So I'm going to go for a Blades 2-1 win. Thank you very much to Sheffield United Way for inviting me on. Obviously, I wish you guys beyond Saturday in the reverse fixture all the best for the season as well. And I hope you're looking after Sam McCallum.
Huge thanks to them for sending that across to us. It's so valuable being able to get their thoughts and their opinions. And hopefully they've given us a little bit of extra knowledge that we can use to make sure we beat them come Saturday. So in terms of the referee for this one, now the referee for this game is Josh Smith. And if you Google Josh Smith, it's the most generic name in the world. You just can't find anything. You have to be very specific. Josh Smith, referee, Norwich versus Sheffield United. And then just about you get a few sort of hits and you're able to find out who this guy actually is. Well, so far this season, he's had a very interesting start. Dished out 4 yellow cards on the opening night when Blackburn battered Derby, and he followed that up with 3 yellow cards in his second game between Reading and Wigan. He's not sent anybody off yet. He's not given any penalties yet, but he is clearly on a bit of a pattern. A betting man might say that he goes 4-3-2, but that's not analysis. That's just not analysis at all. Sue me. So, where has he gone so far this season? He's given 43 fouls so far in his 2 games, so a foul every 4 minutes. And again, this is not analysis because I don't know if that's a lot or if it's not a lot at all. All I know is that it's a referee and he's given fouls. He's reffed us in the past 6 times and we do not have a brilliant record when Josh Smith is the man in the middle. We've got 1 win, 2 draws and 3 defeats from his 6 games in charge. Random stat, because again, I don't know how to analyse refereeing performances. He has given 15 yellow cards to United and 15 yellow cards to the opposition, which I think is quite fun for 6 games. You know, that's a lot of yellow cards in 6 games, but it's also quite fun in the fact that he's clearly not against us or for us. He just thinks, yeah, let's book everybody. What's the point? So with that fantastic referee analysis in the bag, let's move on to our player connections. Now, the player connections section brought to you by Parrot Peel. Now, Parrot Peel are a virtual band. Many of their band members are United fans, and I would encourage absolutely everybody to go and check them out. You can find them at parrotpeel.com. That's Parrot, P-A-R-R-O-T, Peel, P-E-E-L.com. They're fantastic and definitely worth checking out. Now, Hal always picks 4 players at random for his player connections, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So let's go for my 4 player connections. Now, I'm going to start us off with one who we expect to be in the United team, or who I at least expect to be in the United team this weekend, and that's Sam McCallum. Now, yes, he's not actually played for United yet, so he's not technically played for both, but it counts. Leave me alone. Rob Ullathorne is another one who's played for both. He's a legendary fullback. He is one of those players that if you were around 90s, you absolutely love him. If you just missed out on the 90s, you spent much of your formative years hearing how great Rob Ullathorne was. And so we have to make sure that you're enjoying that connection. Beyond that, who else have we got? My favourite chant of all time, and this is my favourite chant for one specific reason, and that's West Brom away. Anybody who went on that one will understand that it was just peak. Kieran Dowell, Dowell, Kieran Dowell, Dowell. Can't go. I cannot not mention him. I can't not do the chant. I apologise to everybody. And then for those others among us, we also had a 1966 World Cup goal scorer. He scored in the final. He played for Norwich and he played a little bit for Sheffield United. And of course, I'm talking about Martin Peters. You will have a lot more connections than that. I'm sure that you will have ideas about players I've missed, obvious ones that I've not talked about, but also some memories of the players that I have mentioned. So do stick your thoughts in the comments and let us know what you think. Now, let's get on to our score prediction. Now, for the score prediction, I'm going to give you my thoughts, but I'm also going to give you the thoughts of some of our Patreon members. Now, if you would really like to be part of this section, but also if you'd just like to support the channel, we have a fantastic group of people where we can talk all things Sheffield United, but also get together and chat a little bit more widely about football, just about life in general. If you want to be a part of that and you really want to try and support the channel as best as you can, please head over to patreon.com/the Sheff United Way. It really helps us to just continue what we're doing and to try and make the best possible videos for everybody out there who is enjoying this. Now, within our Patreon group, what have we got? Ant has gone 2-0 to United. Adam, the stat man, as always, has gone big. He always thinks that United are going to win. This time he's gone 3-2, and he's even added the extra detail, will score in the last minute. So let's hope that it's an exciting one that sees us able to snatch some points rather than just throwing them away at the death. I'm going to go for 2-1 to United. I do think we'll win this. I think Norwich just got a little bit of a sticky situation with the players that are leaving the club. So I think we need to take advantage of that turmoil that they're facing. But that's not the overall Sheff United Way Patreon answer, because we had a majority rules this week, which doesn't happen very often. Both Graham and Nick have gone for a 2-2 draw. 2 Desmonds in a row. And I think that'd be disappointing. But what do you think? What is your score prediction? How do you think this game is going to go down? And do you think we're going to be celebrating, we're going to be happy come Saturday evening? Now, you've had enough of me ranting, you've had enough of me chatting, you've had enough of me just moseying along through this preview. As you can see, things have changed a little bit for me. I have just moved house. I've been in the house for 24 hours at the point that we're doing this. And so I myself, I'm a little bit frazzled. So I'm going to go and have a lie down. Thank you very much to absolutely everybody for watching this video. And for anybody who is heading down to Norwich, make sure you're wearing your lucky pants, because it would be fantastic for us to get 3 points as I celebrate my 30th birthday on Thursday. And there's no better way than to do that with a Sheff United win. Oh, let's just hope, eh? It'd be nice to not be disappointed like last week. Up the Blades.